Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be a review of the first episode of Ms. Marvel. Now there will be spoilers within this review, so just be aware when going into this overall video. Now Ms. Marvel is overall the 6th live action Disney Plus series based within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, after WANDAVISION, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, HAWKEYE and Moon Knight, and you can check out my reviews of all of those shows within the channel, and I'll leave some links within the description. Now Ms. Marvel debuted on Disney Plus on Wednesday the 8th of June 2022, and it will consist of 6 episodes. Now the series is based on the comic book character Kamala Khan, who is Marvel's first Muslim character to headline their own comic book series. She firstly appeared in Captain Marvel issue 14 in August 2013, before getting her own series in February 2014. Now Kamala discovers that she has certain inhuman genetics that gives her abilities such as metamorphosis and the power to extend and stretch parts of her body. She takes major inspiration from the Captain Marvel of Carol Danvers. And the show pretty much sticks to the same source material as we focus on Kamala Khan in her teenage years, trying to integrate within her school life as well as discovering her own powers. In the opening episode, we see her struggles as she crashes into the car of her driving instructor. We see her talking to her tutors, trying to define who she is and her overall ambitions. We establish her best friend Bruno, who's very much of a tech geek, and both of them have aspirations to attend the AvengerCon. She asks her parents if she can go, but she gets refused. As they air their overall concerns as to what goes on within these certain events, despite all of this, Kamala still sets up a plan to go to the AvengerCon anyway. And when her and Bruno get there, we see all of the Avengers memorabilia with all of the t-shirts and costumes, and we see Kamala preparing her Captain Marvel cosplay at the event. Now, probably the biggest development throughout this episode was when Kamala comes across a bracelet that she finds within her basement, and as she goes on stage with her Captain Marvel cosplay, she puts on the bracelet, and in the beginning everything is going great as people are taking photos of her, but all of a sudden she starts to exhibit the energy waves from the bracelet, and this causes a lot of commotion within the event. We see her stretching out and reaching certain objects as she struggles to get control over what exactly is going on. Now luckily Bruno saves her from all of the commotion and he rides her back to her place, but unfortunately for Kamala, her parents catch her out and she gets a harsh lesson about what she wants to be and defining her own purpose. And we end the overall episode as we see Kamala getting very excited at the prospect of what her powers may come to be within the future. So overall, in terms of this episode, I think it was okay. It had very much of that bright sheen, that very colourful aesthetic. They were clearly going for that comic book vibe, as we see earlier on with the episode. We see lots of animations and graphics merging in with the real life background as Kamala is constantly describing and referencing the Avengers and Captain Marvel. We get lots of music and songs in terms of the soundtrack, as the show really wants to provide that upbeat, very positive vibe. There's no teenage angst or growing pains. Yes, we see Kamala clashing with her parents in terms of her wanting to go to the AvengerCon, but other than that, Kamala is very much of a bright personality. So on the one hand, this is very good that we don't get a very much of a deconstructive tale in terms of a young character. There wasn't really much in terms of an overall story here. I think the main goal of this first episode was to establish the world that Kamala is in, establish her character and her own personality and her feelings and ambitions, and the world that she's currently living in. So in terms of that, I think the show very much did its job. I wouldn't go into this opening episode expecting large amounts of spectacle and excitement, because I don't think the show is going to be that in general. I think this show is very much going to be much more of a coming of age story. We're going to get lots of teenage drama, and as the show goes on, I'm sure we'll tap much more into Muslim culture and how Kamala is going to struggle with trying to stick to the heritage of her family and her culture, and at the same time trying to further her own personality. So this series for sure is going to be much more lower in scale and spectacle than what we've seen with the previous shows so far. So whether you like it or not, it's really dependent on your taste and your own expectations of what you want to see within the MCU. From my point of view, I didn't think it was bad. There was nothing spectacular or groundbreaking, but there was nothing really there that I really disliked or hated. It doesn't get too cheesy. It doesn't go into too much of the soap opera that we've seen so much within the CW shows, which I'm sure this will draw a lot of comparison to. There's none of the wokeness or the social agenda. It very much sticks to Kamala aspiring to the Avengers, and in particular Captain Marvel, and wanting to go to the AvengerCon. So there's no messaging here that anybody can accuse this show of being within its first episode. Now, whether that changes as we go throughout the series, we will wait and see. I do hope it sticks to far more establishing the main antagonists that Kamala will have to take on, and also her really coming to master her own powers. I think if it stays along that narrative, then I think it will be something entertaining and watchable overall. Perhaps the one big query that I have is probably more of the premise of the show itself, and it's if we look at the MCU ever since the first phase, second phase and third phase, in terms of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel has never been established within the main universe like what we've seen with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor and all the other Avengers. So how exactly does Kamala draw so much inspiration from the character? Yes, she did join against the fight against Thanos, but nobody saw that fight, right? So especially with the 5-year time gap and the blip as well, if we think about it, not really many people should know a lot about Captain Marvel. So I'm always queried as to how exactly she draws major inspiration. Now, surely they will provide some sort of context as we go throughout the series, and I'm pretty much sure it will be a guarantee that we will see Brie Larson appearing as Captain Marvel, most likely in the last episode. It wouldn't be surprising if we also saw Monica Rambeau appearing as well. And as we all know, all 3 characters are due to appear in a Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels, which is due for release sometime in 2023. So I'm sure there's potential for this to get a bit more interesting and hopefully a bit more exciting as we go on. But for now, in terms of this opening episode, I think it wasn't bad. Not great, not terrible. Nothing essential, I would say, in terms of the superhero genre. But it's something that you can put on and be mildly entertained. I think the lead actress in Man Finale is really good in the role. She's very likeable. She's not too annoying or too self-aware. This is a character that I think you'd want to root for. So hopefully she maintains that likability throughout the rest of the show. Now, a lot of critics got to see the first 2 episodes of this series, and I think that would have been more advisable in terms of opening up the show for general viewers. I think it would have benefited far better if we had the first 2 episodes, and I think that would have introduced far more interesting developments and got people far more invested in the story if they had dropped the first 2 episodes and then carried on with each weekly installment after that. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of the first episode of Ms. Marvel. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as usual with all other shows that I'll review within this channel, I will provide any reviews of any standout episodes and also do an overall review of the season finale and also the season review itself. So look out for both of those within the channel. So let me know what you think about this show within the comments. Are you more excited for this? Do you think there's potential for this to be one of the best episodes or the best shows within the Marvel Disney Plus shows so far? Or did you find it underwhelming? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.